Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. We're excited to kick off another Seller Candy webinar. Today we have our excited to host our friend and long-term partner, John Tilley from Zonguru. Zonguru is an awesome suite of tools that you've probably heard of already, and if not, you should definitely check it out. Super valuable. We definitely get a lot of value out of it here at Seller Candy, and it's been great working closely with them on a different activity. So it's a pleasure to introduce John, who will be talking about some exciting new changes to best practices for SEO in order to rank in AI-driven results. I'm going to pass it over to John, and we look forward to hearing your questions at the end. Take it from here, John.
What's happening, guys? Good to be on, and thank you, Kelly and John and the whole of Stellar Candy for hosting me today, and for all the awesome work you guys do. I love working with the Stellar Candy guys for the good work you do, but also the value set. You guys have a great value set, and you really care about your customers, and I super appreciate it. So we're gonna jump in today. We have a few people live here already. Please ask questions. I think today's topic is around Amazon GEO, if you want to call it that, or the old school way of saying SEO. How do you optimize your content for the latest algorithm on Amazon? And we're going to jump into some technical details around that. So, if you have questions, please ask because I'm here and I've gone pretty deep on this topic for sure. And I want to be able to share as much knowledge at whatever level you're at. So no question is not wanted. So please go ahead and ask. I'm going to share my screen. Kelly, you tell me if you can see everything, and we will go from there. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see that now.
Into keywords only in SEO, that one?
That's the one.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys. So this is the topic today. So the end of keyword only SEO in 2026. This has started in 2025. I've been talking about this for a long time, but at a high level, Amazon's older algorithm known as the A9 algorithm is practically going away, which is really focused on keyword intent searches on Amazon. And it is moving to the latest algorithm called Cosmo, which is an intelligent LLM algorithm that factors in, yes, keyword intent, because keyword searches are never going to go away. Customers will always type in keywords to find products, but there's a whole bunch of other factors and pathways that people can use to get to find your product, specifically through conversational search, which is known as Rufus, right? Which is an agent on Amazon that you can engage with, have a conversation, and get recommended products, etc. We're going to dive into a whole bunch of details on that. This has been our true focus. We feel that this is the seismic shift that's happening on Amazon, and the best way that we can help sellers to make sure that they are getting as many sales as they can by being as visible as they can be. So we have a product on that as well. I'm going to dive into that. I'm going to tell you about the special offer you can get, which you can get 50% off exclusive to Seller Candy today. And we're going to go from there. Oh, by the way, I'm going to probably cover about 20 minutes. So I'm not going to sit here and go on for hours and hours. And Kelly, you can keep me honest, and let me know if it's running long. But
All good.
I really have 20 minutes here, very educational focused because I want to make sure I can help sellers here to understand what they need to do for their businesses, especially now in 2026. If you don't know Zonguru, Kelly covered us there. I would just say that we have over 20 different tools. We're super focused on how we can help you create the best content on your listings to be optimized for the algorithm, get the most visibility, and of course to ensure that you get the best human conversion, right? Let's not forget about the humans just yet. But we're engineered to meet Amazon's AI moment. There is a massive, as I said, shift happening on Amazon where they are bringing in new algorithms, and we are there to meet that moment and to help you navigate. And with change comes opportunity. And if you are ahead of the game, you're ahead of your competitors. So listen up. This is really critical. And let's jump into it. I always like to have an unpopular opinion. and I changed it up. But the one I have today is your Amazon listing isn't written for customers anymore. It's written for the AI that advises them. And the keyword there is advisors, right? This is happening. We see it now. Everyone's talking about it. This algorithm is an intelligent AI algorithm that proactively will advise customers and showcase products based on a number of different sources or behaviors, right? So it's not just, frankly, just a ranking system based on a keyword, and it will, and various other factors that go into that around your health of your product, reviews, etc. It's taking all of the information, but then based on customer behavior, various other things that it will recommend products proactively, right? So if you're sending weak signals to this algorithm, you're not being visible, right? So, um, and I think the important thing, I'll show you this as well, that customers are actually trusting Rufus and its recommendations. So whatever recommendations are coming in proactively, there's a lot more of a trusting factor there. There's a bigger propensity to buy that product. There's stats around that. So this is something that you have to do for sure if you haven't started doing it already. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is give you this for free. We have a Zongu readiness report. So this is simply a technology that we've built that will audit your current listing and look at how it's mapped for the latest algorithm and then give you a score out of that, and importantly tell you how to improve it. So if you're looking for really a touchstone to see how well are you actually mapped to the latest algorithm, this is the tool that you need to use. It's making a pretty big wave in the industry. People love it because they can really see what's missing and how to improve it. And you can, of course, go ahead and do that manually. We give this to you for free. We want you to make sure that you understand where you are in this shift. And then obviously, if you want us to help you, you can engage with us there. So we'll talk about the offer later, but this is a free audit readiness report that you can run. It's under the URL zonguru.link/CosmoRS. Zonguru.link/CosmoRS. Kelly, if you want to drop that in the chat at any stage, you can, just so
Yeah,
people can
will
click on
do.
it. But it's pretty cool. You get 5 free. You can just put in any ASIN you want, and it'll come back and give you this detailed, deep report that our engineers have spent a lot of time working on. So check it out. Okay, the seismic shift is happening. So Rufus is not a feature, it's a critical new discovery layer. Conversational search is embedded and scaling, right? I think this is a really important point. Like, if you look at human behavior as a whole, what happens in our daily life, right? This idea of conversational search is absolutely getting embedded into our daily activities. Everyone here is going on ChatGPT, having a conversation, researching something, getting recommendations. Most likely, in a lot of cases, they're still jumping over once they find what they want on the product side and then searching for it on Amazon and buying it, right? But that is definitely absolutely changing. So this is the critical thing, and why Amazon is so all in on Rufus developments, which we'll talk more about. AI is absolutely guiding the product decisions. It is a guide. It's taking in a lot of behaviors. We're going to talk about the factors today that influence this new algorithm. Let's keep going. So this is also important. Like, I try and give context around why Amazon is all in on Rufus, right? I think the first thing I'd say is, if you went and you know if the sellers here have used it, when you go in and you actually type in any search into Amazon, there's a little mnemonic logo there for Rufus that you can click on, and you can have a conversation just like you have with ChatGPT. If you did that conversation 6 months ago, it would be a pretty poor experience. If you do it today, it's very comparable to ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, etc. Right? It's much more high quality in terms of its conversation and its recommendations, and its insights and how it intelligently talks with you. And that's because of the new Cosmo algorithm. Um, Amazon is all in on this because they can't lose that market share to ChatGPT or any of the other LLMs that are out there, right? They can't uh, simply say, "Hey, let everyone search for it on other, uh, you know, uh, agent platforms, find their recommendations, and hope that they're going to come over and search on Amazon and find the product." What's happening today already. There's a partnership between ChatGPT and Shopify, Walmart, right? They are embedding links and e-commerce into the ChatGPT conversation. So you can see where they're going. They're showing their hand. They're saying, "Hey, we want to own the e-commerce experience. Get an affiliate deal with Shopify or whoever, and do recommendations and literally serve products there where that people can buy." Amazon can't lose that. So they need to have a better experience than what those are, right? And the way they're doing it is they're protecting their backyard. They're not letting at this point LLM scrape and reference products there, within Amazon's platform. And what they're saying is like, hey, try Rufus. Rufus is great, and you'll get amazing recommended products that way. So, they're all in on that because it's a competitor and they can't lose that market share. The other really important point is this idea of the propensity to buy, right? And they released some stats over Black Friday, November Black Friday, and in fact, the propensity to buy for customers that engage with Rufus was 80% higher than through the typical normal search funnel that people follow, right? So it's 60% overall, but during Black Friday it was 80%. So whether it's 60% or 80%, what they're saying is like, hey, if you engage with Rufus, you have a much better chance of buying a product at Amazon. That is big money for Amazon, right? So they are in, people are trusting Rufus, they're trusting the recommendations. And if you're not recommended, you're missing out on that, right? 250 million customers engage with Rufus in 2025. So it's not small numbers, it's massively growing, and $10 billion in additional revenue is projected for 2026 from Amazon, right? For people buying through Rufus. So the numbers are there, they're all in. If you're not there, you're not all in, right? So you've got to get there, and we can help you. So what are some of the things, like, this is hopefully where the penny drops for you. Um, what are the things that the AI assistant Rufus does, right? It researches products. You can tell it, hey, I like this one product. Go ahead and research and give me a whole bunch of other recommendations. It's not going to just look at rank or, other, archaic signals. It's going to be looking at a few key things, even customer behavior, right? I'll talk about what those things are in a second. It can find deals for you. You can say, hey, track this product for the next 2 weeks. When it's the best deal, go ahead and buy it, right? It can reorder for you. So it can actually put things in your cart. You can buy it, right? So everything that I browsed last month, go ahead and reorder that when the price is good, right? So it's proactively doing that. It'll proactively recommend co-buy. This is a big part of the mapping that we'll talk about in a second. But if you're buying that espresso machine, it will recommend a co-buy product. So, hey, coffee beans are great to buy with it. A coffee tamper. What do you think of this, right? And bring that into your conversational search, right? So there are things being recommended without and bought without really the customer's input, right? And you can do image searches. You can show it an image and say, hey, find me something similar or whatever it is, right? So it is an intelligent thing that it is completely different, and it's evolving very fast. So this all the way of just typing in a keyword and finding a product. It is there, it's going to be there, but this is the new way and it's growing. Everyone in the space is talking about it. It's kind of nice. We've been talking about it for the whole of 2025 at least. But right now, literally in Q1, some of the bigger players in the space in terms of thought leadership, like John Durkitz, like Kevin King, they're talking about it. I'm embracing Rufus, says John Durkitz. Kevin King saying something terrifying is happening on Amazon right now, right? The old way of optimizing a listing is worthless. You need to really understand that there are now these intelligent algorithms buying products, right? And surfacing products. So, everyone is talking about it, and they're saying this thing is happening. So you need to be on the train, and you can be on that train with us. So what is this, right? The A9 algorithm is literally the way of matching products to keywords, right? And if you remember, these days are gone already, but you literally had your listing and you stuffed it full of keywords. It's like an ingredient-based listing. It was frustrating for all of us because you couldn't talk about your product. You had to kind of put in all these keywords. That is now gone. Yes, you do need to seed your most relevant keywords for sure, but it is intelligent enough to map you to the universe of keywords with the new algorithm Cosmo. So Cosmo is a new algorithm. Yes, it has that baseline keywords. So keywords, knowing your top keywords and making sure those are in your listings, and not repeated. But a few of those are good. But there's this additional layer of discovery which is driven by Cosmo, which is the algorithm behind Rufus, right? And it is, at a high level, it has things like knowledge graphs, which we will definitely talk about in a couple of slides, and things like RAG, retrieval or augmented uh, generative um, intelligence, which we'll talk about as well, right? So these are important things for you to know because it'll show you the kind of things you have to optimize and ensure that are in your listings so that Rufus will surface you through all the different pathways of finding a product. Okay, so Amazon's published, a number of articles around how it actually works, and that's a good thing for us as technology companies and clearly as sellers. If we know the technical things we need to do, we can do those outside of obviously communicating our product benefits and all the best things about our products to our customers. So, how is Rufus built? With Cosmo, the algorithm, it's built on Amazon's Bedrock. That is really like a system for embedding and building LLMs and AI aspects into their process, right? So much like an N8N, they have Amazon Bedrock, right? So it's a customized platform that gives them a lot of flexibility. They use multiple LLMs, so everything from Amazon Nova, which is their version of it. They use Anthropic is another one that they use. So based on the type of use case, like are people just asking a question of Rufus, like, hey, find me this product, right? It matches that to the best LLM that's built to surface the right intelligent data so it can recommend the right products. Or if it's something more research based, like, hey, I'm going camping and I'm climbing uh, a 10 grade climbing wall, rock or whatever. I need certain specific climbing gear. Can you recommend some? That's going to use a different LMs, right? And it's going to surface them in a different way, right? So it is very fluid and it can adjust to the different type of queries. And then importantly, it pulls data from reviews, Q&A, web sources, customer data, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that right now. So this is an important thing. Amazon uses RAG, right? So this was developed. It's called retrieval augmented generation. It was developed to really help LLMs. It's a layer on top of LLMs to be more intelligent and relevant in real time, right? And what it means is not outside of the LLM when you're having that conversation, it's going to pull data from other sources, right? And what's important, and I think one really important thing for sellers to acknowledge is that Amazon is actually pulling some external sources as well. So it's looking at publications, back to kind of the old SEO days, the PR days, the things that LLMs are doing, right? So like if you talk about ChatGPT, in order for it to give more objective recommendations, it's pulling data from Reddit, from Quora, things like that to help give it other opinions about what people are saying out there. And Amazon does the same. They have a list of publications that they rely on to help give them more objective opinions, other information. So it'll retrieve that information. It also retrieves information from reviews, Q&A, right? Things to real time give it more of an objective opinion so that it can decide how it wants to recommend the product. Now, I'm going to say decide because, it won't necessarily give you an objective recommendation. It's going to give you a recommendation that aligns with Amazon making more business, more money, etc. Right? So that is something to be aware of. But there is this idea of RAG as well, and if you're not giving strong signals across all of these aspects to the algorithm, you're not going to surface, right? So you've got to make sure that you map this. You can't just have a keyword. You've got to have these other aspects. Otherwise, you're losing out on those other 250 million sellers using Rufus or that 10 billion in sales. You're missing out on that, right? So what are these sources that it pulls from? Listing content, facts, claims, attributes, and listing content. I want to make it clear. It's not just the copy on your listing. It's your images. It's the content in your images. It's the tagging on the back of your images. It's the metadata. the copy overlay that you're putting images. It can read all of that. It's your EBC A plus content, right? So all of the content you put into your A plus content, images and copy, it can read. It's everything on the back end. So, you've got to be really careful about everything that you put in there and make sure it's can be read by humans, right? Obviously, for better connection and conversion, but that it can be read by AI, right? So that's important. Reviews, Q&A, happening on Amazon, and then catalog data, structure attributes. It's referencing and it's building all of its catalogs and the intelligence around that, right? So it can recommend co-buy different products together, etc. Right? So all this catalog data, it's absolutely looking at, and then customer profiles. So this is an important one, and it's something that Amazon's going to lean into more and more. It has a historical tracking of your behavior as an account owner on Amazon, right? So if if your behavior is searching for certain types of products and choosing certain types of products, or going through a big shopping activity where you've put a lot into your cart, or whatever you're doing on your side, it is recording that information, and it's then using that to proactively recommend products for you, right? So your behavior is absolutely important to what is going to be recommended. And we see that, like, hey, we're surfacing these products. Hey, what do you think of this? As you go through and you add to your cart, actually, there's areas in Rufus there where they can surface additional products, right? So it's a pretty fluid experience nowadays. This is a really important one, the knowledge graph. It's the AI mapping of your listing. It's really important for a number of reasons. One is there is a technical mapping on within the content of your listing that Cosmo is looking for. And if you answer all of the questions in that knowledge graph, it will then be able to intelligently map you to all the semantic keywords out there, all the research use cases that are out there, right? So this is a good thing for us as sellers, because literally, if we have something that can tell us if we mapped or not, or help us map, then we can ensure that we surface, right? So this is something that we've built, and I'll show you in a second. But we help you to ensure that you can map your content. The other real big benefit of it is that no longer do you need to now stuff your listing full of keywords and not talk about your product. So you have the freedom now in a much better way to do what we should actually have done with our listings from the beginning, which is talk about our product, our unique positioning, our unique benefits, why are we different, how do we connect better with customers. So all the cool things that us as brand owners should be able to talk about our product, you can now do that more freely than before, right? So this is a good evolution for us, and we're not limited anymore by simply having to stuff it full of keywords, right? Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. What does that knowledge graph look like? This is a paper from Amazon, and these are the kind of things, like, it talks about the used for function. It talks about things like what location, used in what if it's a product on your body, it's like, you have to kind of map it to that side. Used by, used with. This is the co-buy. This is a really important one. And actually the one that I see that most brands don't map for is identifying and seeding in your product. Like, hey, how is your product used with other types of products or experiences, right? So that's the co-buy one, where it can map you to more products, right? So it's a technical mapping. And the good thing is that we do that for you on your listings. And then the final one is, and we talked a little bit about this, but there's multi-model routing. So depending on what your type of query is, it's going to use different parts of the LLMs, different factors to proactively surface you, right? So a lot more going into that now. And the most important thing that you as a brand owner need to know is you have to give the right signals to Cosmo and Rufus, right? And that's where we can help you. Yeah, we've talked about reviews. Absolutely, there's objectives, right? An objective opinion. It's going to pull content from your reviews, from Q&A. So you have to make sure that it's going back to the same things, right? You have to have a great product that brings great value to your customers. You have a great listing, and then you have to make sure it's technically mapped for Rufus. So these are the things that you need to change right now, right? So the first thing I would say is and I said it earlier, but make sure you write your content for humans, right? The cool part is that AI is actually really good at doing more research around what your customers are looking for, how to position your products, right? So you can use AI in the right way to do deeper research to really understand how to connect better with your customers. And we do that in our product, which is very cool. But again, you want to write content to emotionally connect with your customer, create better conversion points for your customer. Um, you want to answer intent, not just keywords, right? So you need to answer the questions, not just the keywords that are being typed in, right? So how do you understand what questions are being asked around your product? Write clearly for retrieval, right? So clear, consistent, good sentences that are easy for AI to understand is good. Map the feature, the benefit to the use case. This is what the knowledge graph mapping does. Upgrade your images for clarity and for intent and for make sure that your alt tags in the background are mapped. Um, you need to map the specs. You need to align with Q&A and make sure that you reverse engineer and can answer those, and even get some PR publications, right? So as the sellers, like understanding that Amazon is an amazing channel for us, but we need to be thinking omni-channel, and as marketers, be thinking of other places that we can seed our product, right? To get visibility for people finding it, but now even for obviously AI, right? They're going out and looking for these articles, so make sure that you're present in those. Um, what is AI? Zongu's AI Cosmo Transformation Service. So this is something that we built. It's been live. We've had some amazing feedback. We have a lot of customers using it in Q4, and Q1 already, getting their listings transformed so that it's mapped for Cosmo, right? So there is a process. It's an AI-driven process where we literally give you a solution where we create new content, copy content for all of your listings. Um, Again, this is copy that is deeply researched. We research your niche, your product. We even research and help you create your brand tone, and we understand how to position your product uniquely. And we surface that through the solution, and we give you all the copy that you should put into your listing. And importantly, that copy is factoring all of these factors for Cosmo and Rufus, and all the AI mapping as well, right? So not only are we giving you better content that really showcases your brand and connects with humans, we are mapping that and giving you the most visibility with Rufus. It is a multi-agent process. We even have agents that learn your brand. You have an opportunity to teach it about your brand and how you want it to be seen differently and how you want to talk about your brand. We do it around your product, all the benefits around your product, the technical aspects. You have an opportunity to input on that. What is your main buy keywords? All of the things that we research, but then we give you the chance to really give feedback on that. So there's a process you go through in a few steps, and then we develop the final product. And the final product is all of your content, but we do a very deep dive on your images as well. We surface, the order of the images that you should put in your carousel, what you should put into your image content, what copy you should put in your content, what alt tags you should put on the back end. And we do that for all of your EBC content as well. So there's a massive amount of insight and information given to you so that you can create the best listing, copy, and image content for human conversion and for AI readability, right? So this is a critical step. You can go through the process, and these are all the mapping requirements that we do on our end. And I'll show you. You get the readiness report score. I've given you the link for that. But this is kind of what snapshot is, a very high level snapshot. I'm not going to dive too much into the details of the final product. On the URL that I give you, there's a video that explains everything, and there's a PDF as well that will show you all of the output content. But it is very cool because we give you before and after content. We give you all of the content you should be putting in your listings, but we also give you the reasons why. So we'll show you, hey, what are all the mapping knowledge graph questions that or technical aspects that need to be mapped, and we'll show you, is it mapped? We'll show you the Rufus Q&A, what needs to be answered and how you've answered that. We'll show you the semantic keyword A9 algorithm aspects and how you should map there as well. So all the different factors that go into making sure that you optimize for the latest algorithm are taken care of, but we also show you how they are mapped, right? So we give you the solution, but also the reasons why and how to get there, right? Um, and then we have performance tracking as well, so you can track the performance of the listings. I'm just going to jump through these for a second. You can get that through your subscription with Zonguru. And then we also, we track all of the listings that have been optimized, through our process. And we have, case studies like this. Sessions are up. I would say probably 100% of the time, well, not 100%, 90x% of the time, your sessions are going up. So you're getting more visibility, you're getting more sessions, right? Your niche rank is improving, conversion rate is absolutely improving because it's a human aspect, and Rufus trusts you more. So if you get recommended Rufus, customers trust it more, they're going to buy it, right? Um, and we factor in all of the other factors that affect visibility and rank. So your PPC, your price, etc. So we're tracking that across, but we truly see an improvement happening across the board. And we hear this from customers. Those people who haven't optimized their listing in 6 months, they're starting to see a softening in traffic, right? Especially now going into Q1. Q4, it was happening already, but Q1 this year, it's absolutely happening. And there's going to be a bigger drop off happening. So you've got to make sure that you're giving strong signals to Rufus. And where do you get it? You can go to this link. It's a exclusive offer for the Seller Candy audience. Zonguru.link/SC-Cosmo50. So Zonguru.link SC-Cosmo50. It's 50% off for you guys. Make sure you take down this coupon code. They're going to ask you to implement this as you go into the process, Cosmo50, right? So take the coupon. You just fill out the information, you add the coupon, and then you will get a discount on 3 or more ASINs that you add. So we're encouraging bulk orders here. People are doing 20, 30 of their main hero ASINs. It's not all your variations, just your hero ASINs. You can do that and you will get the information you need to map these correctly. And it's $50. So you can subscribe to Zonguru or you can just purchase it as credits. $50 a credit on this exclusive offer. And you get, again, all the content, copy, images, mapping. You will get that $50 probably back in a couple of seconds once you live. Like literally, you will start mapping for all of these different pathways to find products, right? You have to take the step and get it done. You can start with one ASIN, you can start with 5, 10, 20, whatever you want is built so that you can handle one ASIN or multiple ones. You can buy more credits up front and just do one ASIN to start. Make sure you get a feel for it, and then you can do the rest of your ASINs after that, however you want to do it. But this mapping is critical. And again, if you want to test that and just see how you look right now, go to cosmo.link/Cosmo RS for readiness score, and you can get those free audits on your current listings, right? So free audits on your current listings, and then if you want us to help you write all the content, go through our multi-agentic model that does all the deep research, creates better content that maps to your customers, that maps to Rufus and AI and Cosmo. This is the way to go. Zonguru.link/SC-Cosmo50, and the coupon code is Cosmo50. Go for it right then, and that's what I got for you. So, Kelly, I hope that resonated with you as well and with the audience. But if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to take some.
That was awesome. No, thank you so much, John. Really appreciate it, and obviously very relevant and timely for all the changes that are happening in search. So everyone, make sure you check out the links. I put both of those in the chat. We've already got some questions coming in, John. So if anyone has any, please feel free to drop them in the chat or raise your hands. One thing I wanted to just click on while we were going through that, John, you mentioned a bit about running kind of off Amazon Geo and how the algorithms are looking at sources like Quora and Reddit. Do you have any tips there for everyone in terms of like what might be best practices there, where they should be looking to post, what type of posts to make? Anything else to share on that?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I'm not. There was an article, and I could follow up. There's an article where they've published the type of articles that Amazon is starting to look for content through Rufus, and I guess the tip I can give there is do a couple of searches with Rufus, right? And in that conversation, you'll see towards the end, they'll in some cases, remember it's a dynamic process, right? So depending on the LLM and their process, if it feels it needs RAG and it needs to reference some outside publications, it'll do that, and then it'll reference those publications at the bottom. Hey, we found it. We found some more information in these publications, and they'll publish them there. So you'll see them pop up. I've seen a few as well. It's not Quora, it's not Reddit. that they've obviously openly said, but there are different
Yeah.
publications there that they're looking at. I just can't remember off the top of my head which ones they are, but the recommendations I have there is like, yeah, as a brand owner, um, if you're selling on Amazon, you're probably, launching your TikTok shop, right? Because or your TikTok channel, right? Because if you get in front of those customers, there's spillover happening to Amazon, right? In the same way here, if you're doing normal PR or looking at publications and getting reference in those and reaching out to those publications, there's going to be spillover happening on your side. So you, as a marketer, you have to think omni-channel because they impact your channel on Amazon, right? So you've got to think bigger than just Amazon for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that, John. I'm going to look over at the chat. There's a few questions that came in, so we'll run through these. Question from Viva: If you're a top brand on Amazon, will you benefit more from the Cosmo update?
It depends if you're mapped or not, right? So if you're a top brand on Amazon, I mean, there's obviously different. It depends on what top brand means, right? But if you're appearing for the number one organic search based on specific keywords that are typed in, that's good. And you're still gonna, if you have that ranking, you're still gonna have that ranking if you have those keywords in your listing and every other. Why Amazon has recommended you as a top brand, right? But there's other pathways. If you jump out of that and you type into Rufus, hey, I'm looking for this type of product and can you recommend some? What we see, and I see it often, is like you'll see some organic, if I type in a keyword into the organic side, I see the top page, right? And I see a whole bunch of recommendations. If I type a similar type of search asking a question of Rufus, the brands that pop up are sometimes different to the ones that are inorganic, and in fact, very often, right? So just because you top on a keyword search, that doesn't mean you top on Rufus. So you have to give the right signals. So ideally, you want to be top in the organic pathway, and then obviously top in Rufus, right? And right now they're separate experiences, but it's definitely going to evolve where it's going to become one experience down the road, right? So you've got to check on those, right? And if you're a top brand on Amazon and you're not mapped for Rufus, I pretty much guarantee there's a lot of searches or conversational searches that are happening on Rufus that you're not appearing in. So you've got to make sure it's another layer on top of just your keyword ranking, right?
Awesome. Yeah. So make sure you're mapped. That's the
That's
takeaway
it.
there. A couple more came in. Um, is it possible to use this in every language, country, and an add-on to that would be also, does this work in UK, Germany?
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good question. So, Rufus isn't available in all Amazon marketplaces yet, um, but it is available in the top markets, North America, Canada, UK, Germany. I think it might even be Australia already. From our perspective on our products, we've focused on the English markets first. So, USA, Canada, UK, the big markets that has enough data that we will look at that is, an international or a non-English language would be Germany. That's coming up. We've held back a little bit because obviously translation. We want to make sure that we have people that are checking the information and QAing it, right? That is not just relying on AI agents, and we just don't have, the expertise in house for that language. But we're looking at that in the future. But right now, USA for sure, UK for sure, you can use the product, and get those translations done. Obviously, in Germany, you could run one and then look to translate it yourself as well.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks, John. Any other questions from any of the attendees? Feel free to raise your hand or send something over now.
There's someone asking
Okay.
about a recording. Yes, absolutely. There's going to be a
Yeah.
recording. So we
Yeah,
will.
we'll send that out via email within the coming days, and we'll include also the links there. I put the clickable ones in the chat too for everyone.
Yeah, and maybe like another recommendation, like, if people aren't that familiar with how Rufus works, like, jump in and just type in reverse engineer how you think customers might want to find your product. See if you pop up, right? Obviously run do the Cosmo readiness reports. see if you're mapped well. You know, I see most listings around that 40-50%. Anything above like 70-75% is pretty good. The highest I've seen is a 94%, which uh, is pretty difficult to achieve. But I've seen a few of those on our scoring. But do that. But then go into Rufus and type in a few questions. Type them in. Type in your normal keyword in the middle, right? See the results coming back. Go in and type in some conversations into Rufus. See what comes up. That's the best way I would say to start to really get familiar and see like, hey, like what is this experience like? Going to ChatGPT and write a similar thing, right? And see how it compares, right? And you'll start to see it's actually, the insights and the recommendations that it will give on those platforms are pretty similar to what's happening in ChatGPT is an LLM, right? So, that's really interesting. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, and one more question popped in, kind of goes back to my first question about if the brand has its own website, would Rufus pull that information too? Would it pull in Trustpilot reviews? Do you know if it's looking at those sources specifically,
So,
John, or?
so, so no, not at this stage. So, they haven't, Amazon hasn't said anything like, "Hey, we're pulling from your current website." We're pulling in Trustpilot reviews. What it is doing is obviously relying on its own reviews, right? And its own Q&A. And then for a brand perspective, the content on your listing is what's going to drive that, right? And so that's why when we go through the Cosmo transformation process, we want an agent to understand your brand, right? And how we right now we rely on the brand owners to give us some indication of their brand and brand tone. We have a version coming out pretty soon that's going to do a baseline pull from your website as well and get all that content together, and then ask you questions around that to fill in the gaps. So we have some pretty cool things coming out in the future as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, all very exciting. Any other questions from anyone? Give a couple seconds. Okay, I think everyone's it's gone quiet now. John, it's been a pleasure. Thanks everyone for joining. Super informative. We're excited to get in and mess around with the tool and type some searches into Rufus. And yeah, hope everyone takes advantage of that deal. And we're looking forward to more webinars with you in the future, John. Really
Yeah,
appreciate you coming
thanks.
on.
Thanks for hosting and just I think we're all pretty on top of this as Amazon sellers over the decades, right? But we're always hustlers, and with change comes opportunity. This is a big change, and there's opportunity if you stay ahead of the game and you get this done before your competitors. You seize that opportunity, right? So this is a very clear shift and change is happening, and if you are smart about it, you will seize the opportunity and get more sales. So go deep on this because it's really critical to your Amazon performance over the next while.
Yeah, we appreciate it, John.
All right, cheers. Good luck
Thanks
out
for
there.
everyone.
All right.